Coming up on today's Locked On Angels, the Angels have made their Rule 5 pick, and it's Kenny Rosenberg. He's joining the show today to talk about what it meant to him to join the Angels organization. Plus, we're going to look at some prospect stuff, and the stadium sale has an update. That's all coming up right now on Locked On Angels.
You are Locked On Angels, your daily Los Angeles Angels podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to Locked On Angels, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. And thanks for making Locked On Angels your first listen of the day every single day. I'm your host, Steve Granado. You can shoot me a follow over on Twitter at Steve Granado. That's Granado. All right, today's show, as promised, Kenny Rosenberg. He was selected in the Rule 5 draft on Wednesday, so we had a chance to sit down with him. He joins us on the show today, talking about what it meant for him to join the Angels staff. He is a Cal State Northridge kid, a NorCal native, and he's going to be pitching for the Angels organization likely in AAA Salt Lake. So super exciting. It's the only thing the Angels were able to do. They only had one pick. So he is joining us on the show. Let's tarry no further. Here's Kenny Rosenberg, the newest member of the Angels family. Kenny Rosenberg joining us here on Locked On Angels. Kenny, the newest Angel Rule 5 draft pickup, man. What was it like getting the news?
That's an excellent question. I actually picked it up on Twitter, of all places. I honestly didn't even know the Rule 5 was going on today. I know that sounds crazy for someone like me who should probably be like checking out for that stuff. But when I saw the big league portion was postponed, not to sound cocky or anything, but the last 2 years, the Rays have had me on the AAA roster in the offseason. So I just assumed that they would do that again this year. So I just checked out and started thinking about being in Durham again next year and going back to Port Charlotte with the Rays. And then I go on Twitter when I was leaving the gym this morning, and I had a notification from one of my buddies that I used to play with at Northridge, John Salas. Shout out, John. Not sure if he listens, but he tweeted at me saying, something World Series champs 2022, the ace is here. And I was like, what is he talking about? And I clicked a couple links and found out that way.
Yeah, pretty wild day, especially considering that it seemed like it was going to be any regular old other day. Your guy, like you just mentioned, Northridge guy, so fairly close to home. You call your off-season home out in Newport. So what's it mean for you to be able to potentially pitch at Angel Stadium?
It's amazing. I mean, there's going to be a lot of times, I think, in this interview where I'm a little bit lost for words just because, I've, now been an Angel for 5 hours. So it's like, I'm still adjusting to it. Mentally, I don't even think it's really sunk in. But as far as the location and everything, like Arizona spring training has always been a dream, being from the West Coast, my folks live in Scottsdale. So that's, super convenient. And then my wife's parents are about 20 minutes from Angel Stadium. They went to Angels games growing up. And actually, Angel Stadium was the first big league ballpark, second big league ballpark that I pitched in. I pitched in the A's Coliseum in high school, but I don't really count that. Actually, that's not true. I didn't pitch in that game. I warmed up in the bullpen. I didn't get in. So this was the first big league ballpark I pitched in. I went to a scout day at Angel Stadium in 2016, like a pre-draft workout, and pitched on that mound. And never really thought twice about it. Obviously he was drafted by the Rays and been in that organization now for 5.5 years. So I guess it's not really something that you think about. We used to joke like how cool would it be if I played for the Angels, because it's so convenient for our families. And like I said, being a West Coast guy, I grew up a Giants fan. So, Giants, A's, Dodgers, Angels, Padres would be like ideal places to land long term. And it's a thrill, man, for sure.
My understanding, 3-pitch mix for you. Let Halo fans know a little bit more about you on the mound. Fastball, slider, change, if I'm not mistaken. How are those working for you, especially after getting the year off?
Yeah, so I've got a fourth. People sleep on the curveball. That's okay. No offense taken. And, I could even argue that I throw two different sliders. So, it gets kind of blurry. Us pitchers are very particular about how we define our pitches. The way I would describe them to a pitching coach versus to the general public would be different. But yeah, I would say like 2020, I focused on developing my breaking ball a lot more. 2019, I found a lot of success with the fastball changeup combination. And I actually was throwing a spike curveball in 2020 and deducted based on the injury that I had earlier this year that, the spike curve was creating a lot of tension in my forearm from, really gripping that ball tight, and my forearm fatigued, and then my UCL would take over. So that's why I missed the first couple of months of last year. I had a UCL sprain. And I rehabbed that and haven't had a problem with it since. Stopped throwing the spike curve. So now it's just a traditional curveball grip. And, that fastball changeup combo has continued to be my bread and butter, especially the changeup. Being a left-handed pitcher, needing to get righties out. And, I don't throw 100 miles an hour either. So I needed something, I guess, to keep those guys off the fastball. And I've been throwing a circle changeup. I've been throwing the same grip since I was 8 years old. So there's a certain level of comfort with that and any count, stuff like that. So, and then the slider, has been the most recent pitch that I've developed. I started throwing that when I was in college. And it's just been kind of coming into its own each year.
You mentioned that you had been on the AAA roster for the Rays out in Durham, which is one of the best ballparks in all minor league baseball. Yeah. And you got a chance to really pitch there this past season. You had dabbled there a little bit in the past, but really got a chance to pitch there. How did AAA treat you this year?
Yeah, so I made one start there in 19. I pitched okay. It was a really good Charlotte Knights team that year. They had a bunch of big league guys on that roster. Robert, Mercedes, Zach Collins, what's the Oregon City kid's name? Second base, Madrigal. It was a really, really good team, along with some veterans. So that was my first taste. I got a little bit used to the park and the fans then. So this year, coming out of rehab, at the end of July, when I got to Durham, I was pitching in a long relief sort of role, which was a little bit different than I was used to. But as far as the competition level and facing guys that you see on TV and stuff like that, I was ready for it. The staff in Durham treated us like big leaguers. They managed the bullpen like we were a big league bullpen. So, within a few weeks of being there, I knew exactly what I was there to do. I knew what my role was. I knew which situations I would potentially come into the game. And, obviously being a starter for almost all of my life, that was a bit of an adjustment. But like I said, the staff being able to make it so clear when you're going to be used made things a lot easier. And yeah, some of the parks we got to play at, the Durham Bulls Athletic Park is beautiful and historic. Charlotte's really nice as well. I loved going to Charlotte. And they made the travel pretty easy on us because of COVID. I was kind of hoping to be able to hit a few more ballparks that are over on the East Coast that I didn't get to go to. But yeah, it was a great experience, a great group of guys. Obviously when you're winning so many games like we were, and we were just such a good team, not only in the first half before I got there, but in the second half, even we stayed good, which is so hard to do because you see with minor league teams, they'll be good in the first half. And then, they move guys from the lower levels and then the guys go to the big leagues or they get DFA'd or whatever. And it's a different team in the second half, but they were able to stay so consistent. And when you're winning, everything's more fun. So it was a blast, needless to say.
We got one more before I let you run away today, Kenny. I saw you're having some fun already on Twitter, asking for the picture to be changed and all that good stuff. I saw some good Angels accounts jumping in. What do you have to say to Angels fans? What can they be excited for?
Yeah, man. Like I said before, it feels like a dream. When I was just coming out of the gym and came home to my little apartment in Newport. So I do feel like a local. So I feel like I relate to a lot of the people around here really well. I love the back and forth on Twitter. I love interacting with fans. I love doing stuff like this, hopping on podcasts and stuff. And I'm sure I'll be on some other ones here shortly. But the first, like I said, 5-6 hours of interacting with Angels Twitter has been electric. I mean, they came out in full force. Some of the Photoshop gurus. I had a couple of Photoshops that were like way too good. I was like, no, I need something sloppier. So they came through, changed my profile picture. So catch me on Twitter, K Rosenberg 22, and Instagram, it's Kenny with 3 E's and 1 N. I try to keep, the content somewhat consistent. I know social media nowadays, especially for players, and building your brand is really important, but I try to be authentic as much as I can. So I guarantee you're going to get me, unapologetically.
Well, I could already tell, already interacting with us, and we're very happy to have you part of the Angels family. Maybe we'll see you up in the show here very soon. Kenny Rosenberg, thanks for joining us today, man. Best of luck.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
This episode is brought to you by BetOnline. BetOnline has you covered all season with more props, odds, and lines than ever before as football season continues the march to the playoffs. BetOnline remains your number one spot for all the sports action this season. Head to our new updated desktop or mobile website to sign up today and receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Just use the promo code LOCKEDON to receive your bonus. From basketball, football, NHL, boxing, and UFC, right to your favorite Vegas casino games, don't wait to take advantage of all the amazing offers available for the 2021 season. BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way to bet on all your favorite sports. BetOnline, where the game starts. This episode is also brought to you by Stance. So the first couple of times I heard people talking about Stance apparel, I didn't believe them. It couldn't be that soft, or that people probably were making it up, or like they're talking about the trends or whatever. Then I actually wore a pair of their socks, and honestly, they were the softest socks that I have ever worn. Founded in 2009, Stance Apparel represents a radical reinvention of socks, underwear, and active apparel with a sharp focus on comfort, quality, and creativity. Stance brings an atypical aesthetic alongside some of pop culture's hottest collaborators for the ultimate in style and self-expression, because everything you wear should be a direct extension of who you are and how you feel. Honestly, that's all well and good, but straight up, man, the socks are super, super comfy. I promise. I loved them. I didn't want to take them off. Stance believes that the perfect fit matters more than fitting in, that those who feel good do good. Go see for yourself, register for an account at stance.com, and I got a promo code for you, Locked On at checkout. You get 15% off. Again, that's Locked On at checkout for 15% off your first purchase. Enjoy the color and comfort of a life less ordinary with Stance. Back here on Locked On Angels, your first listen of the day. We have some prospect updates right now here throughout the lockout. This is going to be a lot of the content right now. We're talking prospect stuff and the future of Angels baseball. So let's go ahead and jump to this. Fangraphs released their new prospects list, top 41, odd number, I know. Quite literally an odd number. The top 41 Angels prospects right now. And so we have that list now officially. If you're watching on the YouTube side, of course, you are seeing that list right now. And here is how it shakes out. 21 of the 41 were a future value of 40 or more. We'll talk about that in just a second. 9 of those were slated to be in the show in 2022. So obviously some of those guys, number 1, Reed Detmers, number 2, Sam Bachman, Aurel Vera is at the 3 spot. Denzer Guzman is 4, 5 is Kai Bush, Jordan Adams at 6, Jansen Junk at 7, and then it goes on from there. Some of the notable pitching guys that we have here, pitching guys, aka pitchers. Austin Warren checks in at number 21. Packy Naughton checks in at 17. Davis Daniel, former guest on this show, checked in at number 13. Some other guys to note: Kyron Paris at 10, Jeremiah Jackson at 9, Jansen Junk, as you mentioned, at 7. So I will leave a link to the full list in the episode description here on YouTube and our audio side if you are curious to checking this out. None of these are like in your face. Like, it doesn't seem like, whoa, I can't believe this person's here. Nothing like that, but it is an interesting list that we have here. And I wanted to talk about that future value. So this is what Fangraphs uses to determine how these guys are going to pitch in the major leagues, or play in these major leagues, I should say. So we'll focus on pitching here. I'll tell you about both of them, how they rank them. again, you're going to see it on screen here, but they rank it on a 20 to 80 scale right now. So I'll just go through it. This is how they shake it out on their website. An organization guy's like 20. That's a guy that's going to stay in the minors. 30 is in the up and down ranks. They're going to be, jumping back between triple and major leagues. 40 is a back end starter with a FIP close to 5. 45 is around a 4 or a 5 starter. 50 is a number 4 starter. And 55, it goes up from there. That's a 3 or 4. 60 is a 3, 70 is a 2, and 80 is a number 1 starter, one of the top guys in all of baseball. So with that in mind, the Angels' highest on their list, the number 1 is Reed Detmers. He's at 50, so that ranks in at a number 4 starter. Again, you could take this, with a grain of salt. It's not like this is Bible or, this is not law. This is just what Fangraphs projects them at. So Reed Detmers is projecting as a number 4 starter right now. Obviously, that can change. Guys can break out. Guys can fall down. It's baseball. You never know what's going to happen. So, but that's where Reed Detmers is at right now. Right behind him, and Sam Bachman is at 45. So that's still pretty respectable. Have him at a 4 or a 5 starter. You're going to need those guys every time. So, but what's really important here that we're looking at is, they're here next season. And that's what we anticipated for many of these guys. And, these are the names that we anticipated to be here. Kai Busch is obviously not a guy we're anticipating to be here in 2022. But your Detmers, your Bachmans, your Austin Warrens, your Davis Daniels, Packy Naughton, guys that some of those have already obviously made their appearance in the show, but guys that we are also anticipating to potentially make their debuts in 2022. So, the Angels took a lot of those college arms, right? We know that they took a ton of college arms in the 2021 draft, and those guys are being fast-tracked through the organization, and we saw at the end of last season, and it looks like we're going to probably see that in 2022 at some point. So it looks like Reed Detmers is I got to imagine, at least at this point, I would anticipate him making the club out of camp, which is pretty cool. If he has a bad spring, then obviously that could change. Sam Bachman, if he has a great spring, maybe we see him make it the opening day roster. It also obviously depends on what happens on the starter front in the remainder of this offseason. So there are still some question marks to be ironed out at this point, but it is nice to see that some of these guys are at the tip top of the list. As far as hitter wars, I'll go ahead and give you the same things, those same future value scores. 20 is an organization guy, 30 is up and down, 40 is a bench player, 45 is low-end regular or a platoon player, average everyday player is a 50, and 55 and above. It goes above average, 60 is all-star, 70 is top 10, and then to 80 is top 5. The Angels obviously don't have any of those kind of guys in the organization. The highest guy they have ranked right now is Aurel Vera. He spent his season at A-ball this year, shortstop. He's slated to be here in a couple of years, 2025, but he's up at a 45 projected. That's a low-end regular / platoon player, at least right now. So the Angels don't have a ton in ways of like extremely great, incredible, groundbreaking franchise players. As far as the position player front is concerned, again, that can obviously change. I would never doubt any of these guys at any point. They are some of the tops in all of baseball, and obviously the tops in the Angels organization. So very exciting times for the Angels. Yes, they don't have your Wander Francos right now at the AAA level, just begging to come play for a Rookie of the Year or anything like that. But it is exciting to see some of these guys get ranked a little bit higher. And, this is our first list of the offseason, so pretty cool. Pretty cool. All right, back here on Locked On Angels, one final note before I let you guys run away. There was an update to the Angels Stadium sale, and we've talked about this before, and to be completely fair and transparent, I'm not super good with this kind of stuff, this kind of legalities and all this stuff, so I'm not going to go into it too much. I just thought it was important to bring this up. This is a LA Times article that came out on Wednesday. Angel Stadium sale is deemed illegal by state housing agency. This is from Bill Shaken of the LA Times. The Angel Stadium sale was declared illegal Wednesday by California State Housing Agency, which gave the city of Anaheim 60 days to redo the deal or make the land available to interested bidders. That could put the city in the position of scrapping the deal and starting over, suing to pursue it, or paying almost $2 from every $3 in sales profits towards state fine. So again, I'm not super good with this kind of stuff. I'm always going to be transparent with you. I'm never going to act like I know something I'm not talking about. And these are one of those things that I'm just like, man, this is some stuff. This is some legalities and some stuff. But this is just one of those another twists and turns. This seems to be one of the bigger steps in the process. If you remember, the Angels tried to buy the stadium back in 2019. Artie did, at least. And it's just been kind of, there is also like another lawsuit against the sale right now from a community group. A lot of it is tied up to affordable housing, which someone who lives here in Anaheim, I can 100% speak to the lack of affordable housing here in the area. It is definitely a problem here in Anaheim, and most of you are probably Californians, so you know what I'm talking about. So yeah, again, I'm not going to pretend to know everything that's going on here. I just wanted to give you an update. Definitely follow smarter people than me to tell you about this kind of stuff. Bill Shaken's been all over this kind of thing. Jeff Fletcher's been on it as well, the OC Register. But I have been reading most of these updates from the LA Times, so I highly encourage you to check out the LA Times. If you have a subscription to it, I don't know if this is paid or unpaid. I have a subscription to the LA Times, but I will leave a link to this article. It goes way more in depth. Again, I'm not going to go into it. I'm not going to pretend to be that smart, but Bill Shaken, much smarter than I am. Not that hard to do. But I'll leave that link in the episode description. So definitely check that out. Just a little update on the Angels Stadium sale. All right, guys, that's going to just about do it for us. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter at Steve Granado or at Locked On Angels. Call our voicemail line 714-409-6396. And I want to thank, again, Kenny Rosenberg for joining the show. Super cool, man. We just DM'd him, and he was like, yeah, let's do it. And I was like, all right, man, let's do it. So he hopped on the episode, and I was so glad that he gave us 10 minutes of what was a very busy day for him. So super stoked to have him in the Angels organization. Don't forget to check out my other podcasts, Our Game and Movies I Should Have Watched. They're linked in the episode description. You guys know this kind of stuff. Thank you for making Locked On Angels your first listen of the day. For your second listen, check out Locked On Bets, your daily one-stop shop for all your gambling needs. Locked On Bets, hosted by your boy Q, with expert analysis and insight from Lee Sterling. All right, guys, that's going to do it for us here in today's episode of Locked On Angels. We will talk to you tomorrow with more Angels goodness. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button here on YouTube, hit the like button, and of course on our audio side, hit auto download so you never miss a single episode of Locked On Angels. All right, guys, we'll be back with more tomorrow, but until then, I'm Steve Granado. Later.